What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Counterpunch breakdown. If you're new to these, my name's Lucas. His name's Rohan, and today we will be doing a full card breakdown of UFC 312. A shitty fucking pay-per-view this is. Honestly, last week's card at UFC Saudi Arabia was better, which sounds fucking crazy, but it was literally a better card, even though it was a fight night. Outside of the two main fights and maybe Ilia Toporia's older brother debuting, there's not really any fights that excite me. I mean, maybe Anshul Jubilee. Does he bounce back? Who knows? But before we get into that, Rohan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. Yeah, you mentioned it last week's card. I thought it was really, really good. I mean, a lot of fun fights, not, the most finishes, but some pretty close decisions. Obviously, Israel didn't get the job done, didn't make like a definitive statement on his future, so we'll see with that. But there's a pretty good, first pay-per-view of the year, I guess. Like the prelims are nothing to get hype about, but the main event, the co-main event are going to be very, very fun. So I'm excited. How about you, though? How you doing, Mo?
I'm well, just getting ready for this card, been doing some tape. Last week was killer for us. One of their best.
Yeah, oh my God.
Not just from betting, but just overall predictions. Like I was here calling underdog after underdog. And remember that? I ain't gonna you agreed with me on what the fuck? You agreed with me on you agreed with me on Zion,
but I disagreed with Saeed. I just thought I didn't know he would gas out like that. I mean, he gassed
I told
out.
You, bro. He's
after that long off, and that's something I'm definitely gonna keep into because this card is another one with a lot of guys coming off of big layoffs. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, that was really shocking. He won the first round. I thought it was close first round, but Vinicius is a dog, man. He's a dog. So good call from you for sure.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight, and he was like hurt. He was grabbing his fucking ribs or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that after.
Hope all is well with him, but he got a good win. But yeah, UFC 312. I mean, as I mentioned, outside of the main and co-main, like there's really fucking nothing. This featured fight is Talisan Teixeira taking on Justin Tafa. Like, are we serious?
That's literally my reaction.
Yeah. But yeah, let's just get into it. I feel like these fights will be fun. Like, there's not a lot of name value, but it will be fun. So, we never not watch. We're always, regardless of how bad the card is.
Baby. You come in with the hardcore. Exactly. We always gonna watch. Always gonna give detailed breakdowns, no matter how bad the card is.
We got some comments in here. What up, boys? Thoughts on John Jones' announcement? I mean, I don't really have thoughts. We don't know what the fuck it is.
What's the thought? What's the announcement?
He just said I have a big announcement tomorrow. So what am I?
Okay.
Oh, what? Like if you're asking what it is, I don't think. I think it's either a meme coin or he's retiring. That's what I think.
Bro, if he retires, the uproar that he's gonna face, because everybody at this point, I feel like, is anticipating that at some point in the next year or two, that fight with him and Aspinall will get made. So if he retires, man, I'm not gonna be happy. That's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be a meme coin, to be honest.
He would do some shit like that. He would do that.
We got my boy Mentality in here. He's saying, "Who's that kid on the right?" I'm
a different.
Who this is? Like, who is this? Who is this commenting this bullshit? Hold on, I gotta look. Mentality. Who the fuck is Mentality? Go to the channel. Let's see.
This is someone we know.
When things get uncomfortable.
Mentality. Who are you? Spill the fucking beans. Why are you commenting sus shit on our page? Rohan's a straight man, unless you're a woman. Rohan's interested. There's nothing wrong with being gay, by the way. Okay, let's get into it. UFC 312 fight card. Let's break this shit down. I'm going to share my screen right here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you see it?
I got you.
All right, let's get into it. First fight on the card, Hyun Sung Park versus, I'm not even going to try his fucking name, but a lot of letters in that name. Two guys that were on road to UFC, now fighting in the UFC. Hyun Sung Park, I'm really having a tough time judging this guy. I mean, he had a nice win against Shannon Ross, but Shannon Ross is like the least durable fighter in UFC history. And now he's taking a step up here against Trump. No, I'm not gonna fucking try it again. This dude, what do I refer to him as?
I don't even know how to say it. I think it's like Tumen Demberol or something.
Niam Jargle. Tuma Dermaburl. Is that right?
This is one of the tougher ones in the UFC.
Yeah, my guy Niam Jargle. I don't know. What do I say? Fuck, we got to give him a nickname. What
It's Neom. We're gonna call him Neom.
Neom.
That's
Okay, I like
Neom.
that. Neom, not Zeom, but Neom.
Neom.
Neom's 0-1 in the UFC, but like I thought he beat Carlos Hernandez, to be completely honest. Like watching that fight live, I thought he clearly won that fight. But apparently the judges didn't give it to him. I thought he had 2-1. I think he had it on damage clearly, but he didn't get it. And what's surprising is that fight took place in Singapore as well, and they usually favor those kinds of fighters, but not that time against Carlos Hernandez. I'm not gonna like. I just don't have an amazing read on this fight. I'll always be completely honest with you guys. If I had to side with somebody, I'm probably gonna. I don't know. I just don't know. It's tough. I think I'm gonna go with Hyun Sung Park because I just think he's more technical here. I think. What do we call? What do we call him again? Niam. Niam. I think he's just a little bit too just sloppy. Not just on the feet, but just everything about him is a little too sloppy. I think Hyun Sung Park is just a clean fighter, man. And I don't think he's the best of fighters. And he might be solid, but he just hasn't proved himself against anybody, which is the problem I have here. Which is why I'll probably stay away from, betting. I mean, he's 29. He's in his prime. I'm curious what the line is. If I can get him at a decent – yeah, he's minus 251. Like, there's just no way I'm going to put money on him. I think he wins, but – this is a sit back, relax, and tune in kind of fight. I'll probably take like an over 1.5. Hyun Sung Park, he has 0. He's undefeated, actually. He's undefeated, and Niam he has 1 loss. Honestly, the over 1.5, Rohan, is at minus 180. Both guys have never gotten finished. Only 1 loss between both of them. Personally, give me that. Give me that all day, every day. I like the over 1.5, but when it comes to a bet on a money line, I just you can't. Why would I can't get to an underdog pick here, and I'm not gonna fucking lay the juice on Hyun Sung Park when we don't really know a lot about either of these guys. So talk to me. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. It's tough to get a read on these guys when there's not too much tape out there. I mean, obviously they were both on road to the UFC, so that's out there. But when you're facing kind of the same regional talent, like you said, you don't really learn too much about these guys. But the one thing that you did mention, and I am agreeing with you there as well, is that Hyun Sung Park is, I think, the more technical fighter everywhere. Would I touch him at that price tag? Absolutely not. But between him and Neom, not going to try, but between the two, I mean, I do think that he is a much cleaner fighter. The Neom throws a lot of looping shots, trying to get inside, and just kind of create car crashes. That's where he kind of does his best work. I think he is the more powerful guy in this matchup, and that's why, again, I'm not touching the Park money line, because you don't know where his chin is at. You don't know if he's going to hold up against somebody who I do think is tough. Like, we've seen Neom take a lot of shots in that fight that you mentioned against who was it? It was a split decision loss. Carlos Hernandez.
Not really a power puncher, though, to be fair.
Yeah, true, very true. But neither is Park. I don't think that he's like. He's able to find the target for sure, but he's not like gonna put you out. I don't think, like, especially if you're able to move with the punches and have decent enough head movement. So I could see like just a real war here. Honestly, I love the over 1.5, just given these guys' track records and the fact that neither of them have been finished professionally. So I'm with you there. But as far as a pick goes, I'm not too confident. Don't have the best read, but I got to just side with the cleaner fighter who I've just seen a little bit better work from overall, which is Hyun Sung Park. So that'll be my pick, but not confident at all. Not at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking here. Okay, let's move on. Before we do that, can y'all believe they cut Biggie
Wait,
Boy?
what?
What? You didn't know this?
They cut him?
I mean, I think it was his last fight on his contract. You just think?
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, he's put on back-to-back stinkers. So
I mean, yeah, it's just like the heavyweight division is such a big drop off, and I guess like he was kind of one of those guys that didn't ever get to that upper echelon of the division, and never really had a chance to. So I'm not mad at it at all. But yeah, I mean, you lose some sort of name value there. Biggie Boy, he had a good run. I was talking to my boy, man. He knocked out Junior Dos Santos. That was towards the end of JDS's career, but he knocked him out, and there was a big controversy, like he hit him in the back of the head or something. Like, I was like, no, this guy is a he has the potential to be a threat in this division for a while.
I think that controversy was the Cyril Gahn fight against JDS, not Jersey.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait, did he not finish? Did he not finish?
No, he knocked out JDS, but that
Okay.
controversy was with,
Word. But no, I just remember watching that specific fight and being like, damn, yo, this guy. And then he ran into Francis, I think, shortly after that. And then it was just like, from there, he never really had a chance. So, I mean, I'm not mad at it. And yeah, Tuivasa's on his way out too. Somebody just mentioned that in the comments. Yeah, not a bad call.
Jones is going to retire, says Triad. We'll see. I think it's a crypto announcement, to be honest.
Hopefully not. Hopefully
I feel like he put like hashtag and still in there, which would make people think, oh, it's a fight announcement, but it's definitely a bait. It's gonna be like Jones coin or like wife beater coin, something like that. Something like that. FBA also says Urseg or Moreno. I'm gonna go Moreno. Who do you got?
That's tough, man. Off the dome, I'm gonna go Moreno, just based off what I was so confident in Urseg, and he let me down against Kai Kara. So
I think that was a fluke, bro. Like he beats
Kai Kara. I want to think that. Like I really want to think that, but I'm like, bro, it was such a clean, just 1-2 down the pipe. I remember it so vividly. I was sitting there like, no way he just got. And it is Kai, who was one of the biggest hitters in the division. I don't know, man. That's a good fight though.
I got Moreno all day. I like both a lot though.
I do too, man. That's why like that division is really, really good. It's really good right now.
Yeah, as you were saying, Tuivasa 5-fight L streak, but he's good. And Biggie Boy has two bad fights and he's cut. I mean, it's just the excitement though. Like Tuivasa always fucking brings it outside of that one Jairzinho fight in which he just got beat up. And Biggie Boy recently has been putting on stinkers. And I also feel like that win he had against Gaziev was like not exciting whatsoever. Was that I don't really know, but I get it. Like his style has changed a lot. Like he went from either getting banger finishes against Overeem or getting viciously knocked out against Ngannou to just like point fighting. Which
I think that Ngannou knockout changed him, bro. Like he really, I think he had one maybe other finish against like Augusto Sakai. That's the only one I remember off the top of my head. But he just fought the Gane fight, bro. That first or Jairzinho Gane, they were literally standing and staring at each other for a full 5 rounds. I was like, bro, this gotta be the craziest fight ever. It was like no action whatsoever. Worse than the Lewis Ngannou shit from like back in the day. But yeah, so I'm not mad at it. R.I.P. Biggie Boy. Move on. Best of luck.
Yeah, I'm sorry to change the topic here, but I think you'd be interested that Dennis Schroeder is going to Utah and Kyle Anderson is going to Toronto.
So they just included 4 other teams. I don't know, man. This
PJ Tucker is going going to Utah. I don't know.
How many teams are in this deal?
I don't fucking know. I'm sorry. For those that don't know,
Jazz Warriors, like what the fuck?
We used to be called Hook Shot Pod. So for those that are new, we used to talk about basketball and MMA. But as of like a year ago, we just stuck to MMA. So Rohan and I still love basketball. So just thought Rohan should know. He's a bigger fan than I am, but you know, he still loves it. NBA going crazy right now. Yeah, it is. This is probably the craziest trade deadline ever.
Ever. I mean, the Luka trade in itself takes the cake, but man,
if KD gets fucking traded tomorrow, which I think is impossible, then
and what's crazy, and this is why like nobody would even be surprised.
Did you see the report that he might go to the Knicks, or the Knicks are interested? I don't know. They have something.
Man. I don't want to fuck with what we got going on, but I mean, if it depends on the Packers. Like if we're giving up McCall again and somebody else, I guess.
No, we're not gonna trade McCall. If we trade him, it's for like OG, I think. All right, whatever. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have
getting off topic.
Let's stick to fucking MMA. Next fight on the card, we've got Quillan Salkild versus Anshul Jubli. If you watched the short video I dropped on the gram recently, then you know how I feel about this fight. Anshul Jubli is not good whatsoever. He lost his last fight by barking, not by KO TKO right hook, by barking. His fucking opponent, Mike Breeden, just started barking at him. He got scared and he got knocked out. It wasn't no fucking adrenaline dump. He just collapsed under the pressure. And Quillan Salkild is a fucking beast. If you watch this Contender Series fight, Rohan, this guy, not only is he good everywhere, but his boxing is so fucking sharp. The way he's able to mix the martial arts is incredible. I think you got to parlay him up here. Jubli is just, he's not impressing me whatsoever. I think Salkild is legit. He's here in Australia. He's probably got the judges behind him. I think everything is pointing towards Salkild here. He's minus 410, so it makes fucking sense. But yeah, I like Salkild here. Not a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm again relatively new to Salkild as he's a newer prospect in general, his first fight. But man, I mean, the Contender Series was very impressive. Obviously, you mentioned how he did a great job of just being so versatile in that fight and throwing different looks at his opponent. And the thing about him that really stands out to me, he's 6'4", and I mean, for the lightweight division, for any of those lighter divisions, being that tall and being able to move well is a really good combination. And he has that. Like he has good enough boxing and just footwork to be able to, fight going forward. He's not the best on the back foot. He prefers to fight going forward, but he does a lot of damage. And like you're saying, he uses the boxing as a means to set up his takedowns sometimes. And that's a great tactic and great strategy that he should use in this fight as well, because I'm not as low as Anshul Jubli as you are. I do agree that none of his wins have been impressive. He hasn't beat anybody. He did beat Jake Sergey, and that was by knockout, but Jake Sergey's ass. I thought the last fight he just looked off. I mean, he looked disinterested and just like you said, kind of got just shocked in a really bad way and then knocked out. But it was his first loss. Both of these guys got only one loss. The line is what? It's going to get up there. I feel like it's going to climb even more, but I saw it at like Anshul was like plus 475 on some books. I think that's a little bit wide because if he's able somehow to keep this standing for the entire time, I do think that I keep forgetting this dude's name. Salkild is hittable. Like he is very hittable, and so like I think his offensive striking is a lot better than his defensive striking. Like he doesn't have the best, he doesn't keep his hands very high. He's always looking to be on the offensive. And I just think that if Anshul can do enough to keep it on the feet, maybe there's a shot that he wins some sort of close decision, but I don't see that happening. I think that Salkild will eventually just find a way to take him down. Anshul Jubli hasn't really been tested by anybody too good on the ground yet. I mean, Sergey was trying. Mohammed Muhaid, no. He's decent on the ground, but man, I'm just telling you from what I saw in the quick tape study that I did on Salkild, he like you said, mixes it up too well for Anshul. And the thing I don't like about Anshul is he's never the aggressor in his fight. It always feels like he's the one going second and being the reactive guy, and I hate that, especially in this fight where his opponent is in Australia, the crowd's going to be behind him, and he's going to have no support. So he's got to really bite down and pull out something that we haven't seen before, but I don't see that. So I'll side with you as well. Salkild inside the distance. Good parlay piece. I don't know what his price is though.
He's big favorite, like minus 400, minus 500.
Minus 650 now though. That's what oh my god. Minus 650, dog. I don't know. I'm not touching that line on either side.
He's gonna win. He's gonna win.
I do think
he's gonna win. He's gonna win. He will. He will definitely win. I like Salkild here. I just think Jubli is just not that well, he hasn't had a single impressive win. I mean, if we look at his career, right? He had a split decision win against Kyung Pyo Kim that he arguably could have lost. He finished Jeka Sergey. Jeka Sergey fucking sucks if the fight's out of the first 2 minutes. Like he is horrible. Jeka Sergey got finished by fucking Weston Wilson. You remember that? He got armbarred by Weston Wilson. That was a great moment. Yeah, I just think Jubli is horrible. I think Salkild is legit. And he's also fought great fighters. Like, look at his he fought in Eternal MMA. Eternal MMA is one of the best regional promotions. And he's getting finishes there as well against good fighters. I watched the tape. These are good fighters. And then that win against fucking Gage Young. Gage Young is also legit. And he looked fucking good. I think Salkild's a parlay piece. I like him in a certain parlay that I will get to in a few fights. But for now, let's move on to the next one, which is Kevin Jousset versus Jonathan Mikhailov. Before I get to that, we have any comments? We got FBA talking about the NBA. We'll get into that later. We got to talk MMA right now. Jousset versus Mikhailov. Honestly, look, I know that Jousset is coming off a vicious loss, but I'm surprised he's not like minus 400, minus 500 here. Like Mikhailov really is. He's just not that good. Yes, he's coming off a Contender Series victory against Muhammad Ado, but Ado is horrible. Ado is horrible. And Mikhailov was actually losing that fight until he just caught him in a fucking triangle. I don't think this guy, Jonathan Mikhailov, is UFC caliber whatsoever. And I think Jousset has shown us that he can beat fighters. He beat Kiefer Crosby by rear naked choke. Kiefer Crosby, also not fucking UFC caliber. He had like a Misfits fight a few years ago, but that's besides the point. He looked good there. and then beat Kanan's Song as well, just staying disciplined to his jab and his left leg kick. And that's his game, man. Yeah, he got finished by Brian Battle, but, that's a learning lesson. I think he bounces back here. He's in the prime of his career. If he just sticks to his game, I think he dominates Mikhailov here. I like Kevin Jousset to get this one done, either by late finish or decision. Give me Jousset. I think the line should be wider, to be honest.
I'm with you there 100%. Watching the tape on his opponent Mikhailov, man, holy shit. I mean, I wrote in my notes, I said he's not a clean fighter. He throws with his hands low, looking to close the distance, and he always gets hit, which is true because, I mean, this guy swings with, I mean, like you said, there's no really need to go in depth with that. He's not UFC caliber, and he's going to win max 2 fights if he's stays a UFC fighter in his career. I think Jousset, Brian Battle, I'm high on Brian Battle, so I don't really hold that against Jousset too much. I think that's just a bad stylistic matchup because Brian Battle does what Jousset does ×2. Like, he's just better everywhere. But that's the case with Jousset here in this matchup. He's better everywhere. He's more technical, more patient. I mean, he trains out of a good gym in City Kickboxing with guys that have, they built their gym on solid wrestling defense. Like, I don't think that the grappling is going to be a problem here for him. I think he'll stuff all the takedowns early because Mikhailov late, we have no idea what he's going to look like. So I'm 100% with you there. I think Jousset makes this look very, very easy. More experienced, been in the UFC, has some decent wins under his belt and some finishes under his belt. So I do think that this is a fight where, the line should be bigger. He's the best, one of the best parlay pieces of the card. What's his line at right now? -250. That's perfect. I mean, he's going to finish. I love him to finish this fight as well. I was pretty impressed with the Kiefer Crosby. It took him a minute to get there, but once he was on the ground, did a great job of controlling the fight. And I think that could be the case here as well. So I'm with you. Jousset inside the distance. That'll be my pick.
Yeah. All day. I just think Mikhailov isn't that good. Line should be wider, in my opinion. Yeah. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we have. Oh, sorry.
Is this the wrong Jew?
Might be. It is. Cody Steele versus Rong Zhu. I think the line is like kind of weird here. I don't think Steele should be over -200, but at the same time, I'm not ready to take that fucking dog shot on Rong Zhu. Like, I get that he was dominating Padilla and just got a bad cut, but Padilla is really not that fucking good. Cody Steele, I think, is legit everywhere, and if Cody Steele shoots takedowns here, he's gonna sub Rong Zhu pretty quickly. Rong Zhu does not have the best ground game. This is a fight I'm really interested in. All right, am I here? Can you see me?
Yeah, you're here. I hear you. I got you.
Is it still showing my screen? Okay, sorry. I just got like a Google Chrome alert that says page unresponsive. It's coming up again. What the fuck?
Everything on my screen is good, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think Steele gets it done. I think it's probably a close fight because it seems like Steele's been getting a little too comfortable with his hands. So I don't know if he's going to shoot takedowns. If he does, it's going to look -1,000. But I just don't know if he will. I think it'll be close if he doesn't. This fight's up to Steele. I'll predict him to win. I think if it stays on the feet, he still wins, but it'll be like a split decision, very close fight. But he can make this look fucking easy if he shoots takedowns. I just don't trust that just based off his recent fights. So I'm going to go Steele for now. I hope maybe there's like an interview of his that I haven't looked at yet. I just want to see where his mindset's at. Because if he grapples, I think he smokes Rong Zhu, but it's literally all on him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do think that Cody Steele is just a better fighter than Rong Zhu overall. Skill for skill, technique for technique. I think he is a better fighter. But Rong Zhu is I think the more naturally powerful guy. Just the way he throws, and the way he fights in general. I mean, he kind of takes his time in the beginning of fights. Like he's got one of those bladed, karate stances. He likes to kind of bounce around for a little bit. But when he sees an opening, like he will throw heavy shots. And I do think that's his game is looking for those big shots on the feet. He doesn't kick a lot. He's more of a boxer. He'll throw a teep and maybe a leg kick here and there, but I mean he sticks to the fundamental boxing, throwing those looping shots. And he really does like to take a lot of chances. And I just think looking at the Cody Steele fight, especially his Dana White Contender Series fight, I mean, that sequence, the finishing sequence was, oh man, some of the most beautiful boxing. That was one of the best boxing sequences I've seen, really. I mean, the way he mixed it up, went head, his head movement was working at the same time, and then he went down low and hit him with to the body. Not to say that his opponent was, any real threat. I mean, Chase and Blair, we haven't heard really anything since that fight. I mean, he went back to the regional scene. Oh no, he hasn't fought since then. Sorry, that was his last fight. So yeah, that's not a great win, but the way he got it done was pretty impressive. I thought the boxing was working, and I do think that he will be the better fighter on the feet in this matchup too. I think early, if Rongju is like too patient, I think he can just do a little bit to just accumulate the volume, accumulate some strikes, and just win on the numbers. And then, like you said, the grappling's in his back pocket. If I don't think Rongju, I mean, he hasn't really even been tested by a real, I mean, Chris Padilla, he's not a grappler. He hasn't really faced anybody that's going to try to take him down. So I do think that Cody Steele would be smart to explore that route to victory and try to mix that up. But I do think at the same time, if he's fallen in love with the boxing and it's working, which it has the past couple of fights, I don't think that'll stop here against somebody that won't offer too much resistance. So I'm going to pick Cody Steele. I'm going to pick him by decision, but a pretty clear decision. I do think that he'll win this and look pretty good.
Yeah, the more I think about it, like if this fight stays on the feet, it's going to be a split decision, in my opinion. Rongju is not a bad fighter at all. But as I said already 90 times, like it's up to Cody Steele if he wants to wrestle. We'll see, though. I'm not gonna put any money on this fight, most likely. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Topuria versus Thickness. Probably, if we're being honest, the third most exciting fight on this card, right?
Yeah, they honestly just should have made, even though I have no idea. Just the first time I'm seeing Thickness, bro, but that's a funny ass name, bro. I can't see that and not laugh.
I think it's Thickness.
Yeah, it better, because if it was the other way,
it's got the Thickness. Yeah. No, I think it's Thickness. Look, I get the line. I'm actually surprised that Topuria's gone from like -500 to -370. I think he dominates Thickness. Thickness is very well rounded. I think that he's solid everywhere, and he's got really good cardio. As Volkanovski said, he's a very hard worker, but he's gonna need to shine in he's gonna need to shine in one position here, and I just don't think it'll happen. Yes, we haven't really seen Topuria's cardio be tested, but I do think he's legit. The way he's finished fights, it looks legit. I know it's not against the best competition, but he looks pretty fucking good. The one thing I'll say is I think this fight will be a lot similar to Ilia Topuria's debut, his younger brother, against Youssef Zalal, in which I think he dominates the first 2 rounds and then maybe slows down big time in round 3. But I feel like as his career moves on, he'll recognize his mistakes and get better. I think Topuria is really good. Do I think he's better than Ilia Topuria? I don't know, but I feel like here's the thing. Ilia Topuria himself said that he thinks that his older brother is better than him. Is he just saying that to, be a good guy to his sibling? Who knows? But I feel that Alexandre Topuria is also really fucking good, and I think he wins this fight because I just think he's going to be way too physical and just a more talented fighter here. I like Topuria.
You just said the word I was really gonna expand on, and that's the physicality, bro. Like he has a similar kind of fighting style to his brother in a sense, in the way that he kind of takes his time. He's patient at the start of fights. He kind of stalks his opponent, but his wrestling is very, very good. Like for Colby to win this fight, he's gonna have to keep it standing, the entire time. And I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think the way I'm calling Ilya, the way Topuria works in the pocket and works inside behind his hands to just get very smooth takedown entries, I think that'll work against somebody that's like a taller frame, is going to look to do a lot of damage on the feet. Like Colby, he has what's his finish rate? Only 2 finishes. I don't really see a knockout here because Topuria has never been finished, has he?
No, he has, but it was a weird. In his only loss, he got finished, but it was a weird circumstance. Like he took the fight on short notice. The guy was like,
okay.
The guy was like 30 pounds heavier.
And it was 2015. It was 10 years ago. Yeah, it was 10 years ago, and that makes sense. Okay, no. So when I was looking at this dude's tape, obviously it's hard. You got to look on YouTube. I was watching, some of the newer fights. I think I saw the one against Alberto Ibanez. And I was going back and I'm like, wait, this is from like 9 years ago. Is this the same guy? Because it said Alex Topuria. I'm like, wait, he been around for that long? So yeah, I mean, he has been around for that long, but he didn't look like the same fighter. Actually, this is helping my pick because if you go back and if you can find that video, what it was like 9-10 years ago, just the title has like Alex Topuria versus somebody in whatever promotion it was, mix and fight. I don't even know. But man, he looked like a completely different fighter, like slow as hell, washed up, like not really moving with any conviction. And then fast forward, I mean, I look in his recent tape and he looks like a completely changed guy and that he's out, with real motivation. He's only 29. That's not old by any means in fighting years. And now, given that he was 19 10 years ago when that knockout happened. So you learn a lot, you get a lot better. And I think he has made the improvements. And like I said, just the wrestling, the physicality, just getting him against the cage and wearing on his opponent. I think that's going to be what ultimately gets Topuria over the line because I don't think I don't think he has that base under him, like that sturdy base to be able to drag this out. But like you said, we don't know where Topuria's cardio is, so there's always a possibility that we've seen it before. Walter Walker, Shara, even to a degree, all these guys that we have high expectations, they come in and they have no cardio. And if you don't have cardio in the UFC, you're not going to win anything. So I do think that there's a chance for that, but ultimately I'm going to side. The way they're hyping this dude up, if he's anything like Ilya, he can't be losing to somebody named Thickness. So that's all I'll say.
You love that name. You love that name.
It's funny as hell, bro. It's funny as hell.
We got FBA in the chat saying Topuria versus Oliveira in bantamweight and lightweight. I mean, I guess Thickness kind of looks like Oliveira, right? But if Ilya Topuria actually fights Charles Oliveira in like a non-title fight, that's just so fucking stupid. Like, why would he move up to lightweight to just not fight for the title? I don't like that at all.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. I thought they were tossing around the idea of Islam and him.
That's what they should do. And I think Topuria wins that fight too.
I'm tempted to say the same. Moicano hurt him for a second. He actually didn't, but like, man, the fact that I don't know, man. Still, there's a lot. Like, even when Islam looks good on the feet, he's still so hittable, and you don't want to get hit by Ilya Topuria, man. You don't. Oh man, that's a fun ass fight. I hope they do that though.
Yeah, we'll see what goes down. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Wang Kong versus Bruno Brazil. Wang Kong coming off a unfortunate loss in her last one against Gabriela Fernandez, in which she was fucking dominating and just got caught and got subbed. Is that going to happen against Bruno Brazil, who actually looked really good in her last fight against Molly McCann? I don't think so. I think Wang Kong destroys Bruno Brazil, to be honest. I think that was a fluke against Gabriela Fernandez. She knows what she has to do here. She can't get caught again. She's in the prime of her career. She's dirty on the feet, and she can hold her own on the ground as well. I know she got subbed, but she lost to a literal man in Gabriela Fernandez. I think that Wang Kong is a good bounce back spot for her. I think she's a great parlay piece here if you want to parlay up minus 400 plus. I think she's way better on the feet. And then on the ground, honestly, I think she's too physical. Yeah, Brazil might be more talented on the ground, but I think Wang Kong or Kong Wang, whatever the fuck you want to call her, is just too big. I think she gets it done. She also has an inch reach advantage, and she just knows. Like, I know it's only an inch, but she knows how to use that reach so well. She has a big background in kickboxing. I think she gets it done. Last week, guys, we predicted a bunch of underdogs, like 4 or 5 dogs, which is very rare for us. But now it seems as of now that we're back to regular programming. Let me look at the rest of the card. Is shit going to change up? I mean, maybe we'll get a few dogs next year. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, for now, yeah, give me Wang Kong. What do you got?
I was looking later up the card. I see some maybe underdog spots. We'll get to later, but I'm with you, man. Kong Wang. Jesus. I mean, she has the win over Valentina back in the day, which is, I guess, why she is in the promotion right now. But, I mean, that can't be the only reason. And it's not. I mean, we saw in her debut that finishing combination that she landed on Victoria Leonardo. My goodness. That was scary. I mean, the head movement, the pocket boxing is very, very clean. And she is got some just inherent power that is going to be the reason that she does a lot of good things in the UFC, I think, because, man, there's just not a lot of people that are going to be able to stand with her for a whole 3 rounds. And I just don't see that being the case with Bruno Brazil either, who is not bad. And that's the thing. I mean, I like Bruno Brazil. I like all the fighting nerds. The fact that she comes from a really good camp with the fighting nerds who have been on a tear to end last year and to begin this year. I think they usually have good game plans for their fighters, and all their fighters have done really, really well recently, including Bruna Brazil. But this is a really bad stylistic matchup. That's what it comes down to for me. Like, I do think that Bruna Brazil has clean striking. I love her kicks. The fact that she has a head kick knockout on her resume. She has a lot of versatility, but when it comes to women's MMA, I feel like the physicality, I've said this multiple times, this is not the first time I've said this, but man, the physicality matters a lot more, and the skill can't really compensate for that on the women's side as much as the men's side of things. And I just think not only does Kong Wang have the physical advantages, she's taller, she's got the bigger reach, she's more powerful, but I just think the boxing is better. She's a cleaner boxer, doesn't really have to do, she's a kickboxer, but I mean, her kicks aren't really her MO. It's really just the boxing, man, because she's just got some real power in those hands. So, man, I do think that Kong Wang continues to build on her momentum. Obviously, not from her last fight, but from getting in the UFC. Obviously, like you said, got caught in the sub. That does not happen again. This time, she just does her job and gets the win. I agree, Kong Wang. And yeah, I'm looking further up the card. I do think that we might start to see some underdog picks from the two of us, but so far, pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think Bruna Brazil isn't horrible, but I just feel like she's outmatched. I think this is a solid bounce back spot for Kong Wang Kong. It's like a kind of like a Yao Ming Yao situation. Yeah, give me Wang Kong. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Tom. Damn, we've got a lot left. Holy shit.
Yeah.
We can probably pick this up a little bit. Tom Nolan versus Vyacheslav Borshev. This is a fight in which I've actually been thinking about this. What's the under here? Because I remember this fight got announced like 2.5 months ago, and I'm like, okay, I'm betting the under for sure. And I never really thought about it after that. Now that I'm
minus 225 under 2.5, I'm seeing.
Whoa, I'm fucking hammering fight to end under 1.5, fight to end in round 1. I think that someone gets finished round 1. Both these guys have bad durability.
Yeah.
Bad chins. Someone's getting finished. It's going to be a fucking slugfest off rip, and someone's getting knocked out. Who it is? I think Nolan gets a round 1 knockout most likely. I feel like Borshev is a little bit more chinny, but man, both of these guys throw fucking heat, and both of them have bad durability. I'm going to go Tom Nolan, round 1 knockout. There's guys, I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot to break it down here. It's just who is more chinny. I think it's Borshev, and I think Nolan gets a round 1 knockout.
I mean, technically, I think Nolan is the underdog, so that would have been one of my picks as well. But I'm actually just with you. Borshev didn't look good on the feet against Chase Hooper, which is just one of the worst things that you can have, on your resume. And then he got subbed, but he just takes the first round and chills too much. And then, yeah, he's chinny. I mean, he's got a good technical game. The kicks work for him sometimes. Like, he's able to find the target once he gets a read on his opponent. But I don't think Tom Nolan, especially in the Australian environment, like the crowd's going to be behind him. This guy, he's just one of those fighters that doesn't give a fuck. Like, he will get hit 10 times if it means that he can land 5 times, because he just thinks that he can knock you out. And I think that that's probably a decent strategy to have against Borshev, who is there to be hit, number one, and he doesn't really do his best work until later in the fight. So I'm not minding that pick at all. It's one of those fights where it's going to be a car crash. Just that's how Tom Nolan fights go. And there's no grappling threat on either side. So I do think that a finish is on the horizon. So I'll say Tom Nolan. Maybe doesn't get it in round 1, but round 1 or round 2 finish for Tom Nolan. I just think that Borshev is trending in the wrong direction. And this is not the best matchup for him, but I wouldn't be shocked either way if he did find a finish. Yeah, good fight though.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I'm with you. It's a good fight. We'll see who comes out on top. I think there's an early finish. Slava got dropped by Hooper. I mean, that's literally what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, and you remember that so vividly because it's Chase Hooper. Like, how are you getting dropped by Chase Hooper? But man,
yeah, it happened though, which is great. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. Man, I'm having a tough time with this one. I mean, really tough time. Gabriel Santos coming off a win against Yisha. Before that, he had 2 losses, one to Lerone Murphy, in which I thought he won, and then one to David Onama, in which he brutally got knocked out. Then he bounced back against Yijia. Good performance, looked good. Now he's taking on Jack Jenkins. I don't know, man. Jenkins is really good on the feet, but if Santos decides to grapple, this is going to be a problem matchup for him. Honestly, I don't have the best read on it. I'll let you go first. See if you can convince me to a certain side.
I don't think I'm gonna convince you because I can't even really convince myself. But what I will say is I'm picking Jack Jenkins outright. He's my only like slightly, I can back this underdog with somewhat confidence because I do think that on the feet, man, this is very even. I think Jack Jenkins might not have the power advantage. He's not the biggest frame. He's 31 years old, but he's a scrappy guy, and that's what I like about him. He mixes up his techniques very well on the feet. I think his kicking game is going to be huge in this fight. It might not, cause a wow moment that we want, but it'll keep him in the fight for a long time and maybe even, get him across the finish line because that starts to add up over the course of 3 rounds. Like Santos, I watched some of the film. He doesn't check leg kicks. Not that a lot of people that he's fought have gone to it as much as Jack Jenkins will, but he doesn't check leg kicks. I just think that the striking is very even here. Like Santos takes his time a little bit more. I think the output will be on Jenkins' side. And Santos is going to look to close distance, get it against the cage, make it a little dirtier, land his big shots. Yes, definitely try to implement some wrestling. But I also don't think that Jack Jenkins is the type to get taken down and just lay there, for half a round. I think he's going to try his best to get back up to his feet multiple times. Can we see a lot? I think we'll see a few scrambles in this fight. I just think this is a 50-50 fight, honestly, just based on the fact that I think Jack Jenkins is really hard to keep and hold down when you're Santos. Like, I don't trust Santos's grappling enough to be like, this guy is going to – that's a clear path to victory. If you just take Jack Jenkins down, Jack Jenkins has 0 ground game. No, I don't think that's the case. Like, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. And then on the feet, I think, honestly, he's the more well-rounded striker, Jack Jenkins. So I'm gonna say decision. I think this goes the full 3 rounds. And I just think that Jack Jenkins does enough in Australia to convince the judges to give him the nod. But, man, if you told me Santos knocks him out in round 2 with a big shot as Jack Jenkins is ducking into a knee or some shit, like, I could see that clear as day. But I do think that the volume and the overall just well-rounded ability of Jack Jenkins might give him the edge.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about it that way, then I feel like you got to take the plus money here on Jack Jenkins. Look, the only thing, if I saw this line and that fight with Herbert Burns hadn't happened, I'd be fucking nuking Jack Jenkins at plus 190, or what is he right now? Same thing, plus 190, plus 195, plus 200. But, like, he was able to get controlled a little bit by Herbert Burns, which is kind of scary. But you know what, Rohan, I'm gonna be with you. I think I'm gonna take a dog shot here. It's a 50-50 fight in my eyes, and I think Jenkins, he's only improving. Another fighter in the prime of his career. I think he gets this one done. I think the leg kicks will be a big factor. Give me the dog, Jack Jenkins. First dog of the card, right?
Word. First outright, yeah. I like it.
Or no, well, actually, Tom Nolan, I said, is gonna win.
Exactly, which I don't know. That should be a pick 'em dead even, but he is the slight underdog. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. Interesting fight. Prado's coming off a loss to Zellhuber. When was that? 11 months ago. Okay, I think that was the Mexico City card. He looked like a fucking – he looked non-human. I mean, the shots that he fucking took, and he was just able to trot forward, it was pretty impressive. He beat Atman Azaitar by finish. Good win. Lost to Malarkey, kind of just got pieced up in that one. And you've got Jake Matthews on the other side who just really hasn't done anything extremely impressive. Like, who has he beat that was amazing?
Dude, his best moment in the UFC, I will stand by this, is a knockout over Andre Fialho, who is not anything to get hype at. Like, bro, that's his best moment in the UFC.
I mean, I guess a close fight with Michael Morales is actually his best moment, in my opinion. This line is incorrect. I think Prado's just going to not stop coming forward. I think he's a beast. He's only 22. He's only getting better. Right now, I'm getting a fucking rush in my body because I'm going to absolutely nuke Francisco Prado.
Really?
No, I'm not going to nuke his money line. I'm going to do a sizable bet on his money. I'm going to nuke his point spread. That's what I'm going to do because we are in Australia.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I do think that the line is a little off, just because this guy Prado, he's a specimen. He's a physical specimen. He's 22 years old is the other thing. I mean, I don't think that we're even close to seeing what he will be in his prime, but he's got power for days and he doesn't care to get hit. He was getting hit 10,000 times by somebody in Daniel Zellhuber, who I am so high on, and I'm glad he won that fight. But he's been in a lot of wars. That fight was just something else, man. It was something else, the damage that both of those guys took. So if you're Jake Matthews and you're seeing that, I mean, you can't be real confident that you're going to take this guy out of there. And if that's the case, you're going to have to just do what Jamie Malarkey did, which is, outstrike and just kind of pick your shots on the outside, not let him get inside. I think Jake Matthews is the better fighter in that sense, in the sense that his footwork is better, his head movement is better. He mixes up his martial arts better than Prado does, obviously, but that doesn't really matter all the time in these heavier divisions. And I mean, it couldn't be more of a contrast between Jake Matthews' current matchup with Prado and his last fight against Phil Rowe. Like, Phil Rowe is he's not imposing at all. He's tall, lanky guy that, I mean, he can knock you out, but he's not like a knockout artist like Prado. And I just think Jake Matthews did a good job being the shorter fighter of getting inside and landing his boxing combos. But Phil Rowe is not coming at him like Prado will be. Prado is going to try to take his head off. And we've seen that happen to Jake Matthews before. Like, we've seen, I think, I'm messing up now, but can you remind me, has he been knocked out? Jake Matthews? Yeah.
He's been knocked out once.
I just think being knocked out one time.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Way back in the day. So yeah, I mean,
knockout of just Kevin Lee just wearing him out.
Got you. Looking at the guys, like you said, the Michael Morales is the only one you'd look at and be like, damn, he might get fucking finished in that. So the fact that he did go unanimous decision is a good sign. It's tough, man. This is tough. This is probably my worst read, but I like both guys and I know both guys so well. It's just like the Australia crowd is a factor. Who is Jake Matthews right now? Like, I feel like every time I see him, he's a different fighter. Like, he looked good, in the Phil Rowe fight, but then, and he's looked good recently in general. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna pick Jake Matthews to just.
What do you mean? Fuck it? He's like minus 250.
I know. You're right. He is minus 250. But I do agree with you that line is wide. It's wide. Just considering that Prado is young, he's only had 3 fights in his UFC career and fought really tough guys. I mean, Zellhuber is one guy that I think that could contend for a top 5, top 10 spot someday for sure. So I don't know how to exactly read Prado right now. And I just think that Jake Matthews did pretty well against Morales and surprised a lot of people. So if that's the only loss in your last 3 and you're trending in the right direction, I'm gonna just pick him to keep that up. But man, that knockout is definitely something to be scared of. He cannot let his guard down for 1 second in this fight. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Honestly, Prado wasn't really like a knockout kind of guy. Yeah, he beat a Zaitar, but a Zaitar's chinny and shit. I just think he's a fucking dog, and I think he'll make this fight really close. And I just think the line's off. We got FBS saying over 55.5 strikes on Prado. Maybe ask me later in the week. I don't really look at those kind of bets. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Maybe I'll check it out and look into it. But right now, I can't give you an answer because I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction when it comes to those kind of bets. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato. This is a really, really tough fight to call, in my opinion. Bellato, what is he? He's a big favorite here. No, he's actually a slight favorite, minus 160. Here's the thing. Bellato is a fucking dog. He's a dog, and this is like a kind of a dog versus dog kind of fight. Both these guys are really, really tough. It's just who's more tough and who's better. And I'm going to go Bellato. I think overall, when it comes to talent, I think at this stage in their careers, I think he's just a little bit better everywhere. And I think he's more tough. I mean, you look at that Ihor Porteria fight. Dude, this guy got hit with the fucking kitchen sink and somehow came back and won the fight. Honestly, I just don't think Crute has the tools to beat Bellato here. I think it's just both these guys are going to be hanging in there. They're going to be swanging and banging, and I just think Bellato's better. And I think he's just a little bit more talented. Both these guys, they're dogs. They're both dogs, but I just think in that kind of situation, you have to just look at who's the more talented fighter. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, actually 100% 4 or 5 years ago, you give it to Crute. But now Crute has looked really fucking bad recently. He's taken a long time off, and honestly, I can't trust him. I like Bellato here, and more that I think about it, I think I'm gonna place a big bet on Bellato because I just think Crute, a lot of time off, hasn't won a fight in 4 or 5 fights. Bellato's the play here, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, dude. I mean, he's taken almost 2 years off, over 1.5 years off. And I just learned my lesson the hard way with Saeed Nurmagomedov, and that's a completely different fighter. I get it, but man, when you're coming off of a layoff that long, you just never know. And I mean, he's had some bad injuries in his career that he's had to battle back from, Jimmy Crute. So I'll give him that as well. I remember he had like that dead leg in the Anthony Smith fight or whatever. That was an unfortunate one. Got caught by Jamal, no shame in that. But then 2 fights with Menafield and you can't get a win. Like, come on, bro. So I don't know. I do think that Bellato, talent for talent, is the better guy. He's 29. And he's a powerful puncher, man. I mean, I think he's just got the power advantage against Jimmy Crute. And I think he'll be there to be hit if Jimmy Crute somehow comes back and looks good. Like if he looks competent in terms of his movement, his head movement is on point. I could see him making this a real interesting fight. I mean, the crowd's going to be behind him. He was one of those guys that Australia was looking at to become, a next contender, and then he just never really panned out. So maybe, they'll be giving him ample support, but I just don't think that'll be enough here. I think that the way Jimmy Crute fights is like he's gonna get in these car crash scenarios anyways. Like that's just how it's inevitable with him. So, and it's inevitable with Bellato too, because that's how he fights. He's a dog. He's gonna come forward with huge shots, his hands low, but he's just swinging. And I think one of these guys eats a big shot, and I think more than likely that guy is Jimmy Crute. So I think Bellato by knockout is gonna be my pick, probably round 1 or 2. Yeah, I don't like the spot for Jimmy Crute, and I just don't like. I can't pick these guys that are coming off of a 1.5 years off, bro, because I just don't know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Adam saying, love the content, predictions on point. Thank you, man. We appreciate it very much. Jimmy Crute in big 2025 is crazy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Is this 2020 Jimmy Crute? Hell no, bro. I'm with that.
I can't believe this is the fucking featured fight, but here we are.
Get it out of my face.
I mean, okay, look, Talison Teixeira versus Justin Tafa. The fact that this is the feature fight is ridiculous. And I saw somebody say, I think it was a fighter or somebody connected to MMA, that the tax in Australia is just horrible and fighters just don't want to fight there, which actually kind of makes sense. I mean, I think like the tax in Australia is like as bad, if not worse, than New York. And New York, we know, is horrible.
I didn't know that.
This fight is tough. It's tough. Teixeira, I think, is ass. Tafa, I think, is ass. I think someone gets knocked out. Justin Tafa, he's been knocked out once. It was by fucking Yorgon de Castro. Oh my god, dude! Way back in the day, I think in like 2020, it was like what, 15 years old. And I remember like writing a hate comment on Instagram about Yorgon de Castro, and he like responded to me like chatting shit. So I said like anybody that gets knocked out by Jordan Hardy should like retire from the sport. Someone along the lines. And I remember he got pissed. That's besides. I think Tafa wins this fight. What's the odds?
It's close now.
Yeah, give me Tafa. I like Tafa. I mean, you got it on a fight that's so low level. I know Teixeira is 7-0, guys, but the guy is not that good. He's an okay fighter. He knocked out a bum on the Contender Series, and that's probably what's making him the favorite here. With a card that I actually thought where we wouldn't pick a lot of underdogs. I mean, I think Tafa finishes Teixeira. I think he knocks him out. Got that Australian crowd behind him. I think he knocks him out. He's not the shoey guy. Who's the shoey? Oh, that's Tui. Confusing the Australians. And in a card that I didn't think I was going to pick a lot of underdogs, but I think Tafa wins. I think Prado actually wins. I think Jenkins wins. I think no one wins. Maybe we got a few dogs here. I like Tafa to knock out Teixeira. I think Teixeira sucks ass.
I don't know, man. I do think that he sucks, but they both suck like damn near an equal amount. And he's 6'7". He's fucking 6'7", bro. And I don't know, man. It's always with Justin
Austin
Tucker.
Lane. Austin Lane
I
was like
know. I was gonna mention Austin Lane. But he doesn't fight like Austin Lane. He fights a little better than Austin Lane, and I don't know, man. I hate the Tafa brothers so much. Like I can't even explain why. I just like every time I see one of them, I'm like, fuck, bro. Why are they fighting? Like I couldn't be less interested. But at the same, like that Carl Williams fight, oh my god. I don't know, man. Talison Teixeira fought in the LFA, which is a decent organization. Had a good win on the Contender Series. I mean, his boxing is better than Austin Lane's. I think he's more powerful than Austin Lane. And I hate Tafa, so I'm picking against him just because of that. I really don't give a fuck about this fight. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me anything else. I don't care. I'm just picking Teixeira to go in there and just like push him and then like knee him or some shit. I don't know, bro. I'm tired of the Tafa bros. They gotta get out of the UFC. Move on. I cannot believe they made this the third fight. That's really what it is, bro. How do you make this the third fight of a pay-per-view and it's not like Connor or Alex at the top? It's DDP and Strickland, bro. Stack the fucking card. What is this bullshit, bro? Sorry.
I mean, I told you. I think it's like the tax or whatever is the problem.
Bro, get that shit out of my mouth. I hate this fight, man. Anyways, that's my pick. Let's move on. Co-main. Exciting fight, finally.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Mr. fucking leader. Group leader over here. I guess
I don't like the Tafa bros, bro.
I guess we're moving on. Next fight on the card, we've got Weili Zhang versus Suarez. Before we get into that, what does this chat have to say? We've got FBA saying we can all agree that this is the worst pay-per-view of all time, right? This would be considered shit even for the Apex. I mean, yeah, this card is just horrible. Literally the third most exciting fight. Maybe this, honestly, like, I feel like you can make a debate that the Soap Warrior fight is more exciting than this.
I don't know, just because, I don't know. That's a preference thing, but I do think this is a pretty good fight. And
no, I'm excited.
Yeah,
we got Ryfax says reacts to my UFC edits. Great show, by the way. We appreciate it, and I'm gonna check it out after this live stream. For right now, we gotta break this fight down. Weili Zhang, Tatiana Suarez. This line is fucking shit, in my opinion, or not shit as in you can't get value anywhere. I think the line's just wrong. I think Suarez is going to destroy Zhang Weili. I do. I think she's gonna break her. I think she's gonna dominate, and either get a late finish or a decision. Here's the thing about Zhang Weili, right, guys? Here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing. She isn't an amazing striker. She isn't amazing anywhere. Like, she was losing on the feet to Yan Xiaonan. Like, Yan Xiaonan hit her with some good fucking shit on the feet. Lemos, like, it was kind of competitive on the feet, as crazy as that sounds. She is not an amazing striker, and she's not an amazing grappler. And in this fight, I feel like you got to side with the fighter that shines in one form of martial arts, and that's Tatiana Suarez. She's got the grappling. She's got the wrestling. She is really fucking good on the ground. The only thing that's steering me away from dropping a nuke on Suarez is her lack of fucking fighting. I mean, if we take a look at her career, right? She had, good UFC run. She was looking incredible. And then she took a long break for 4 years from the Nina fucking Nunes fight. She bounces back. She beats Montella De La Rosa by guillotine choke. Then she beats Andrade by guillotine choke. She's had 2 fucking fights. That's crazy that they gave her a title shot. I mean, I guess she's on like a crazy streak. There's nobody else, but she's done fucking nothing since her return. That's actually insane. And she's had 2 canceled fights against contenders, and those 2 canceled fights have gotten her a title shot. That makes no fucking sense. But regardless, we know how good she is. I mean, she looked incredible in that Andrade fight. I think this fighter, Tatiana Suarez, not only do I think she's going to beat Zhang Weili, but I think she could become a double champion today. That's my opinion. I think she gets an immediate double champ shot after she beats Zhang Weili. That's my prediction. Past the fight, I think Suarez wins, and I think she beats Shevchenko as well. I think this is a double champ in the making.
Man, sorry, no. This is tough, dude. It's tough because I kind of see where you're coming from when you say like Weili isn't amazing anywhere. Like, she does get hit a lot on the feet. I mean, we don't gotta do too much research to know that. Just look at the first Joanna fight. But She is versatile on the feet. Like, she throws a lot of different stuff at you. She's fast and very powerful on the feet. It's not like Tatiana's gonna. I don't think she'll feel the until she feels Zhang Weili in there, until she gets hit a few times, like then she'll know. Okay, I'm gonna go in for the shot. Like, and I think Tatiana lands a takedown within the first minute of the fight, 2 minutes of the fight. But the thing is, does she find a finish early? Because I can't tell you what this fight will look like if it goes past 2.5 rounds. I cannot tell you how Tatiana Suarez will and her cardio will hold up in a UFC 5-round main event title fight versus somebody that's been in those type of fights for the last like 5 years.
I mean, she's never shown bad cardio though.
It's true, but when has she been in a high pressure, high leverage 5-round main event versus somebody that is dangerous for the whole 5 rounds? If you don't get her out of there, and we saw this in the Yan Xiaonan fight, we saw it in the Joanna fight, we've seen it damn near every fight that is not named fucking Carla Esparza, because she absolutely ran through Carla Esparza. She had to dig deep a little bit, and I mean, there were moments in that Yan Xiaonan fight I was like, dude, is she about to lose? Is Weili about to lose? It would have been one of the craziest upsets, but then ultimately the cardio advantage took over, and down the stretch, I mean, it wasn't even close. She almost killed her. I mean, she finished her like 3 different times down the stretch. Not to say like that's a comparable opponent to Tatiana. I love Tatiana Suarez. I think she's like the female Habib, female Cain Velasquez. She's one of one. She is one of one, and there's nobody that can wrestle like that. But it's just how long you gotta submit her, man. It's either Tatiana subs her. This is the way I'm looking at it. It's either Tatiana subs her or Zhang Weili wins a 3-2 or a close split decision. Like, I think those later rounds, if Tatiana doesn't get her out of there early, they're going to be bad news, man, because I mean, it's not like Tatiana's striking. She's not a dangerous striker where that you got to worry about her power. And we really haven't seen her fight, man. It's so hard to be so confident in one aspect of somebody's game when you don't know how they're going to look after so long out of the cage. She's a mother. She became a mom. She like ripped her knee apart. She had multiple surgeries, multiple fight cancellations. It's just so many question marks, but that wrestling is a different animal. I can't. I'm still struggling to give you a pick. Like, all day I've been going back and forth. I think this is finally the one where Weili meets her match. And that's crazy to say, but I must say, Carla Esparza, nobody was expecting her to win that against Weili. She ran through her. Lemos, I mean, you were kind of running out of options at that point if you got to put Lemos in a title fight. Not to say that she didn't earn it, but never really a threat. And then Yan Xiaonan, I guess that was really the last option. But what does she have on Weili? Nothing. Like, she doesn't really have anything. And for a minute there, we thought that she did. And that's really kind of scaring me, the fact that Weili didn't look too convincing in the early rounds of the Yanan fight. I think that Carla's going to have, Carla. I think that Tatiana's going to have openings early just to take the fight to the ground, probably keep her there. Oh, man. Because I think she submits her then. I do think that she submits Weili, because if she doesn't and it goes to the 3rd, 4th round, I think Weili starts to mount a comeback and then we see a crazy decision. But I'm going to say that doesn't happen. I'm going to say Tatiana just out muscles her, gets her down, and gets her out of there, which would be shocking to some, not to others. But it would be a great moment for Tatiana, because how much adversity can one fighter go through? It's actually crazy. So I do kind of want to see her, have a good result. And, I think she needs to finish this fight. She needs to finish this fight.
I don't think so. I think she can win a decision here.
I don't think she can. Man, in those later rounds, Weili, especially if she thinks she's in a competitive fight, she will let the whole kitchen sink go, bro.
I don't know. Tatiana Suarez breaks fighters, dude. Like, I know she hasn't really shown it because she finishes early, but she really breaks you to the point of fucking giving up. A lot of these fucking guillotine chokes are her just tapping people, not because the choke is 100% in, because these people just haven't. They just had enough. Like Andrade. Yeah. She had enough of that fucking pressure of Suarez.
You know what? And this just came to me, and this is why I think this is something I forgot to mention. Rose Namajunas had a lot of success against Zhang Weili in that second fight, just taking her down and holding her down. I'm actually that slipped my mind for a second, and now it's coming back. You remember this, right? The second Rose Namajunas fight?
What about it?
Rose was kind of losing a lot of the striking exchanges, and as a result, she was like, all right, I'm gonna just keep taking her down, and she took Weili down and kind of held her there for like minutes.
Yeah, Weili arguably won that fight. But yeah, she was getting grappled.
But she did. She was getting. I'm again, the way she would argue that she won that fight is damage over control, because Rose was like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna hang with her on the feet. So let me just start to grapple. And if that happens, if a Rose Namajunas at 125 is doing that, then I don't know, man. Tatiana, I think she can do that and then some. So that made me a little more confident, me remembering that. But I love Weili too. So I'm just excited to see this fight. But I'm gonna pick Tatiana as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Main event: Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland, the rematch. It's weird because I actually was gonna pick Strickland here at big plus money, but then I saw something today that he has staph infection, so I really,
my god,
I can't predict him with confidence. I think he had something on like his tricep. Does that affect like a psychopath like Strickland? I don't know. But I already see a scenario in which du Plessis would win and Strickland would just go and fucking complain on Instagram. To be honest, guys, I know this is the main event and I know this is a boring breakdown, but I feel like I can't give you an 100% breakdown when we don't know if the health of one of these fighters is 100%. I mean, it is actual. Like, I know we rumor every now and then, does this fighter have an injury? Does Merab have a cut in his leg that's going to impact him? Does this fighter have staph? Does this fighter not have staph? But you could clearly see that he has staph infection on his arm. Like, it's clear as day. It looks just like any other staph infection you'd see. So I don't know, man. I was gonna pick Strickland to bounce back and win a decision, but now I honestly don't know. I think I might go du Plessis. I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. You know, I'm gonna let you go first. Hear what you got to say. Actually, I'm not.
I'll be quick. I took my time with the last one because I was really confused. I'm still
food.
not.
I got food waiting outside. I'll be right back.
All right, you got it. Listen, guys. I'm pretty confident here. I'm pretty confident here in my pick. I was confident last time that Dricus would get the win. I didn't know how. I said on the podcast, if some of y'all remember, I said Dricus by decision, and we got into a big argument. I was like, no, it's possible. He can win by decision. He won by decision. I think he finishes him this time. I think he gets him up out of there. This guy, Dricus du Plessis, is one of the most confusing fighters. He's an anomaly. There's nobody that has, that little skill and that many results to show for it. It's crazy, and I'm a big Israel Adesanya fan, so excuse my bitterness, but man, I've never seen somebody be more effective without having like just basic MMA skill. Like, he doesn't have any striking skill. He doesn't have any head movement. His footwork is horrible, but he makes it work because he just does not quit. He's like the big version of Merab in a way. That cardio is a big weapon of his, actually. I mean, that was one of the things that we were doubting about him going into that 5-round title fight with Strickland, was like, is du Plessis going to be able to hold up? Is he going to actually feel fresh enough to keep coming forward in the later rounds? And boy, he did. I mean, he took the fight to Sean Strickland after Strickland took the fight to Israel Adesanya. He was like, look, man, you can do that to him, but I'm not going to be the one that you're going to do that to. And he not walked him down. I mean, it was a really, really close fight, arguably went the other way, but the fact that he showed that off and showed that grit and determination, I just really think that this guy is tough to get out of there. And ultimately, if you're going to beat him in a 5-round fight, you gotta like knock him down. You gotta score some real points in the judges' eyes. Like, Strickland didn't knock him down. I mean, obviously you could see the damage all over DDP's face. I mean, his eye was all busted up and all, but he did an equal amount on the feet. And then obviously he mixed in some of the wrestling as well. Didn't like hold Sean and ragdoll him or anything, but he used those control points to his advantage. And I just think more ways to win is the main reason why I'll side with Dricus here. But I just think that right now, the momentum that he has after finishing Israel Adesanya in the way he did, beating Sean Strickland, I think the wins, they speak for themselves. And I think this is the Dricus du Plessis era. This is the beginning. I mean, you got to defend your title, and rematch Strickland, obviously get that out the way. But, well, I won't say the era because we got Hamzat looming on the horizon. So hopefully that happens somewhere down the line. But right now, I mean, I don't think Strickland is too much of a problematic matchup for him. Obviously, it was a crazy first fight, but I mean, did Strickland ever come close to finishing him? Not really. And I just think that if DDP somehow gets Strickland down and holds him and unleashes the ground and pound and unleashes the full grappling arsenal that he has and submissions, I think he's gonna finish him. I think he can either submit or knock him out. I don't know which one, but I'm gonna pick DDP inside the distance. I think this is his era. I don't know how much of that you caught, Lucas, but I'm telling you guys, I'm confident this time. I was confident last time, but I'm even more confident this time. And the staph infection I didn't even know about, but that adds more confidence. So Dricus du Plessis inside the distance. And I just want to, my boy mentioned this to me earlier. He was saying, you know, when people, for like the last couple of years, when you rematch somebody who you beat by decision, think about the ones. And you can help me out here because I forgot some of the ones. But obviously you got the Islam Volk, and then you got Kamaru Masvidal. There's some more scenarios where I'm forgetting, but I feel like we've seen this story a few times where close first fight, could have gone either way, and then the second time the favorite's just like, all right, let me show you why I'm the champ. And that, I think that'll be what happens here. So I'm gonna pick Dricus du Plessis. He's got the championship confidence, champion mentality, and he's coming in here to do his job. I got Dricus.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to go Dricus too. I'm just concerned about that Strickland staff. His whole thing is pressure and pace, and with that, it's not gonna be there. It looked like that pretty bad staff. It's on his arm. I'm just concerned when it comes to that. Do I think it's the Dricus du Plessis era? I don't. I think
No. I might have spoke too soon because Hamza's there.
I think after this fight, he's gonna lose. Any other contender he fights, Hamza, I think beats him. Barrio, I think beats him.
Oh, I love
Imavov, I think beats him. I think all these guys beat him.
Imavov, I don't know.
Imovov's too quick, man. Too quick with the strikes. I think he's gonna be a problem for du Plessis.
Izzy was too quick for Imavov got more power than Izzy.
I'm actually more confident. I'm more confident that Imavov and Barrio beat du Plessis than I am Chimaev, actually, which is crazy.
Really?
It sounds
because of the wrestling, I guess. Yeah, because of the wrestling, you don't know if it'll work.
The cardio of Chimaev, we don't really know.
And that too. And exactly, that's one of the things that I mean. Like, I think Sean Strickland, his cardio is good, but his output is never the highest, right? Like, I feel like du Plessis forced that output out of Strickland. He forced it because he's in your face the whole time. You got to punch back. But yeah, I think he thrives in those scenarios. But yeah, the future of the division is interesting because if he does win this, then you got a lot of different ways you can go. But I love Caio Barrio. And Hamza, I just want to see Hamza be the champ, man. Come on, one day it's got to happen. Come on, we already 5 years into this shit, man. I thought he was going to be a champ by year 2. Oh my god,
they gotta let him fight in America, dude. It's kind of fucked. He doesn't have his visa. He's like, they think he's like part of like terrorist shit because he's connected with the Chechnyan dictator.
Man, I don't know if that'll ever get figured out, but all I know is he can beat anybody in the division on his day.
I know you got to head out, so we'll wrap it up here. Any final words?
Nah, man, this is gonna be a fun card, so just enjoy. Be on the lookout for more content as usual. Instagram, Discord, bets and all. Will be keeping y'all updated. Get in the Discord if you're not. We're making money. I mean, last week, bro, I got a just incredible job in the Discord. Wasn't it like how many units was it? 12 units, bro, and so many underdog picks in that. So you got the real insight coming your way if you sign up for that. So definitely do that and be on the lookout. We'll see you when we see you.
Amen. I appreciate the kind words. We're gonna keep grinding. All of our links will be in the description of this video, whether you want to check us out on Instagram, TikTok, or you want access to our bets, which have been absolutely killing it. You know what's crazy? Not a single losing week so far in 2025.
We killing it, baby. Let's go. Let's keep it moving.
Yes, sir, FBA. We got you. Everybody, thank you very much. Can't forget this outro.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one, boys. Ron, it's been good talking. Audience, it's been good talking to you. Peace out, everybody. Be good. Peace. Adios. Fuck, I'm looking for the thank you screen. There it is. Okay. Oh, wait. Fuck. Bye. See ya. Bye.